Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 4 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 4 math. And then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter data and graphs. The lessons we're going to cover today are read a table, interpret line graphs, interpret bar graphs, and interpret line plots. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I'm on grade 4 math, the chapter here on writing graphs is read a table. Let's just start with the lesson. At a charity basketball shootout, excited fans counted the baskets and misses made by each of the team mascots. Which team mascot had the fewest misses? So you need to find the one who has the fewest misses. So here is the column for the misses, right? The fewest is 2. That is Tina Tiger. So the least number is 2, which is in the Tina Tiger now. Tina Tiger had the fewest misses. That is Tina Tiger. Let's just start with the test questions. An agricultural agency is researching how much cheese people have been eating in different parts of the world. Which country consumed more cheese per capita in 2006, Australia or Argentina? Which country consumed more cheese in 2006, Australia or Argentina? So in 2006, Australia or Argentina, that is 11. And Argentina in 2006, they have 11 kg per capita, then Austria is 17 kg per capita. So that means more cheese. Austria consumed more cheese. No. Mm, Australia or Argentina? Australia consumed 11 kg and Australia consumed 10 kg. That is Argentina. Option number 1 is the correct option. While looking through an almanac at the library, Elena noticed some data showing the population density of various states. In 2000, how many more people per square mile lived in South Dakota than in Montana? South Dakota and Montana. In 2000, here is the 2000 column. How many more people per square mile lived? More people in South Dakota than in Montana. Here you have 10. 10 minus 6 equals 4. That means 4 people 4 people per square mile. The correct option is 4. Option number 2 is the correct option. 4 it is. A philanthropic organization compared the amounts of money that its members donated to certain causes. Who donated the most money to animal rights? Mm. Who donated most money to animal rights? Here is rights column. Just look at the values 15, 13, 4, and 2. So that is the most value. So Albert donated the most value. The correct option is Albert. Option number 2 is the correct option. As part of a project of for health class, Kelly surveyed local delis about the kinds of sandwiches sold. How many more roast beef sandwiches than tuna sandwiches did Kelly sub sell? How many more roast beef sandwiches? Here is the column for roast beef sandwiches. Then tuna sandwiches. Did Calais subs sell? Here is the columns for the Calais sub. You need to see how much more they sold the roast beef sandwiches to tuna. So that is 8 minus 5 because they sold 8 roast beef sandwiches and 5 tuna sandwiches. So 8 minus 5 is 3. So they sell 3 more roast beef sandwiches than tuna sandwiches. The correct option is 3. Option number 1 is the correct option. Dr. Becker, a zoo director, research ticket prices at the zoos around the country. How much does a child ticket to the Bussy Zoo cost? Child ticket to at the Bussy Zoo cost it costs $3. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is $3. A county agency recorded the money donated to several charitable causes over time. In March, how much more money was raised for animals than for education? How much more money was raised for animal than for education? Here is the column for March. How much more money was raised for animal than for education? Animals $15 and for education. For education, that is just $4. 15 minus 4 is $11. So that means in March, $11 uh, more raised for animals than for education. The correct option is $11. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself here today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is interpret line graph. At Lowell Consulting, the head of human resources examined how the number of employees with healthcare benefits varied in response to policy changes. Did more employees have healthcare benefits in 2013 or in 2011? Here is 2013. In 2013, there are only 10 employees. And in 2012, here is 2012, there are 80 employees. So 80 minus 10, 80 is greater than 10. So that means more employee had healthcare benefits in 2012. Let's just start with the test questions. A research group noted the amount of meat consumed per capita each decade. What was the capita meat consumption in 1980? So basically, with these lessons, we're going to learn how do we read the data from the graphs, right? Mm, what was the per capita made in 1980? You need to look at 1980. You can see the x-axis has the years and y-axis has the weight of the meat. So here is 1980, right? Just match the 1980 with the y-axis. On y-axis, you are given the consumption of the meat. So in 1980, 80 kilograms per capita meat consumed in 1980. The correct option is 1980. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 80. Option 2 is the correct option. Which line graph correctly shows the data? You have to you have to match this table with the graphs. You have to see which graph represent the values in the given table. Just match the values with the graph. 2090 gains 150, 2010 40, 2011 20, 2012 10, 2013 that is 15. Graph A is the correct option. All the values in the given table match with the first graph, so the correct option is option number 1, that is first graph. Johnny, our doctors track the average waiting time at the office each month. How much longer was the average waiting time in June than in July? So in June, the average waiting time is 50, and in July, that is 40 minutes. So 50 minus 40 equals 10 minutes. That means the average waiting had longer than July. Option number 2 is the correct option, that is 10. At Lowell Consulting, the head of human resources examined how the number of employees with healthcare benefits varied in response to policy changes. Did more employees have healthcare benefits in 2013 or in 2012? Did more employees have healthcare benefits in 2013 than in 2000? In 2013, there are 10 employees who took healthcare benefits. And in 2012, you have 90 employees, right? So, did more employees have healthcare benefits in 2013 or in 2011? In 2012, in 2012, more employees have healthcare benefits. Option number 1 is the correct option. Each year, each year, the Campbell School District publishes its annual budget, which includes information on the sports programs per student's spending. What was the Campbell School District's per student sports budget in 2015? So, which is the correct option? So, what was the High School District student sports budget in 2015? Here is 2015. Just mark the value that is $60. Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is interpret bar graphs. After a trip to the zoo, the students in Mr. Gerber's science class voted for their favorite animals. How many children voted for penguins? Here is penguins, animals. You need to count the total students. So the girls that voted for the penguins are 70 and the boys that voted for the penguins are 70. So you need to calculate 70 plus 70 because you need to calculate how many children voted. 70 plus 70 is 140. So 140 children waited for the penguins. Let's just start with the test questions. While looking through an almanac at a library, Albert noticed that some data showing the population density of various states. How many people per square mile lived in Maine in 1990? 1990. This light blue color is for 1990, and here is the state's Maine. Just match it to the that is 40. The correct option is 40. Option number 2 is the correct option. 40 it is. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 40. Emma, an employee at Kirk's convenience store, looked at the sales of each of its soda products. Had higher sales on Saturday, Fizzy Fun or Pearl Soda. So which one has higher on Saturday? The blue color represents Saturday. So you need to see Fizzy Fun have higher on Saturday or Pearl Soda. So Fizzy Fun have higher sales on Saturday. The blue color represents the Saturday, right? The correct option is Fizzy Fun. Option 1 is the correct option. A zoologist counted the number of reptiles at each of the state zoo. How many more snakes than crocodiles does the Wilderness Zoo have? Okay, here is the data for the Wilderness Zoo. And how many snakes are more than crocodiles? Snakes are 8 and the crocodiles are 6. So 8 take away 6 is 2. That means the Wilderness Zoo has 2 more snakes than crocodiles. Option number one is the correct option. For a class project, students in Mr. Stewart's biology course counted the number of red and gray squirrels at each of the local parks. Which park has the most squirrels? Most squirrel means then both the values are more, right? So you need to calculate them. Okay. The Walnut Park 115. They have 115, right? Then this, I don't know which part I can't read the name. 55 and 35, 5 and 5, 10, 90. Then 65 and 60. That is 125. So that means Arnold Park has more squares. Option number one is the correct option. That is Almond Park. Okay, Livingston High School Students Council re- recruited teachers and students to serve on each of its committees. How many more people on the cafeteria committee than the field trip committee? How many more people are on the cafeteria committee than on the field trip committee? So 30 and 50, you have total 80 people on the cafeteria, and on field trip, they are 40, and then that is 50. We need to see how many more. So 80 minus 50 is 30. That means on cafeteria committee, there we have 30 more people than field trip committee. Option number two is the correct option. That is 30. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself maybe today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is interpret line plots. Let's just start with the lesson. Let's just start with the test questions. A craft store asked some people how many scarves they owned. How many people have more than one scarf? More than one. More than one, you have only one value. That is three because you don't have any number of scarf for two. So the more is three. One, two, three, four, five. And number three, scarf. Five people have three scarves. So the correct option is three. This is the number of scarves, and this is the number of people those have zero, one, two, or three scarves. So five people have more than one scarf. Students in Mr. James' math class guessed a number between 1 and 5 and recorded the results. How many students are there in all? You need to calculate the total students, right? We just count the students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 and 1. Just add a 5 plus a plus 6 plus 2 plus 1. 8 and 5, 13, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that means that there are 22 students in all. The correct option is 22. The correct option is 22. Option number 2 is the correct option. So, Faisal, in on looking at the scores from the last quiz, how many students scored fewer than 6? So, fewer than 6, you have only one value, that is 5. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, the correct option is 8. That means 8 students scored fewer than 6. Option number 2 is the correct option. A tennis fan counted the number of matches won by his favorite players last summer. How many players won at least 2 matches last summer? So, which is the correct option? How many people won at least 2 matches? At least two. Here is the two. At least two means less than two, or the least value is two, right? We need to count those students. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At least two. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then why we don't have the option 16? At least minimum value would be 2. No, no, no. Start with 2 and count, go to greater number. So you need to count 2 and 3, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's why it is not showing. At least 2 means you have to start with 2 and you can go to maximum value. So starting with 2 and you just have to count 2 and 3. So you have total 15 players. Option number 2 is the correct option. Lisa kept track of the scores on her favorite radio quiz show. How many people scored 4? We need to count the people who scored 4. So, which is the correct option? How many people scored 4? 8. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 8. Leo figured out the scores at the end of a card game. Which score did the greatest number of people receive? 8. Number 8 has the most number of people. So the correct option is 8. Very good. Option number 2 is the correct option. At a school carnival, some people spun a wheel numbered from 1 to 6. Which number was spun the fewest time? The correct option is 6 because 6 has the fewest spun. Option number 1 is the correct option. Some students compared how many times they went to the park last week. How many students went to the park more than 2 times? More than 2 times. 0. More than 2 number of trips. That means you have 3 and we have no students. So that is 0. Option number 2 is the correct option. Some people were asked for their favorite numbers. How many people said a number is less than 2? How many people said a number less than 2? Less than 2 is only 1, and 9 people said the one. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So, we were working on grade 4 math. The chapter we were working on is data and graphs. The lessons we have covered today are read a table, interpret line graphs, interpret bar graphs, interpret line plots. Basically, you are learning how to read the data from the graphs, right? So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons you just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lessons, you can simply click on the live chat button. Here it is. You can see the live chat button over here. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write down the question in the chat box. I am here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So please write down the questions in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. That's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye.